This problem tends to seem confusing at first because of the way that it's written. However, it's a great problem to get at whether or not you understand the difference between a functional value and the derivative. In the graph, I have a graph of a function y equals c of x and 5 different points identified there as well, points A, B, C, and D. In part A, it asks which of these 5 points is c of x equal to 0. Now, since c of x is talking about the functional value, that is just a position function on whether or not the point is above the x-axis, below the x-axis, or on the x-axis. And since I want to know when is c of x equal to 0, that would be the points that are exactly on top of the x-axis. So the only 2 points that do that are points A and D. However, in part B, it asks when is the derivative equal to 0. And so the difference between the functional value and the derivative is the functional value is position. Is it on the axis, above the axis, or below the axis? The derivative is the slope of the tangent line. That tells whether the function is increasing or decreasing or maybe turning around. And when the derivative is 0, that's when we'll have a maximum or a minimum. In this case, that's the point C, where the vertex of this curve is. In part C, it asks when is the functional value, when is the position greater than 0? So for which points is the position above the x-axis, and that will only happen at point E. In part D, it asks which points are below the x-axis, when are the positions less than 0, so below the x-axis would be points B and C. And don't be confused that D is also underneath the x-axis. It's just that the letter is underneath the x-axis, but the point is right on the x-axis. That's why in part A, c of x was equal to 0 at point D. In the last two, I'm asking about the derivatives. So the slopes of the tangent lines, whether it's increasing or decreasing. And in part E, it asks when is c of x, c prime of x, the derivative of x, when is that greater than 0? So when is the slopes of the tangent lines greater than 0? When is the function increasing? That's going to happen at point D and at point E. That's where the function is going up. For the other points, A and B, that's when the function is going down, so its derivative is negative, and the function is decreasing.